The next section on the notes is multiplying polynomials. Now, if you take a look at that, you're going to realize that you've already learned how to multiply polynomials, so this is going to be a quick review lesson. The first thing that you learned is that you have to multiply the numbers that do not have exponents. You add the exponents on the variables and possibly numbers that do have exponents. And you use the distributive property to get rid of parentheses. Those are the three basic rules you've learned. So I'm going to just go ahead and do these problems with those rules. If you need it a little more in-depth, go back to the previous videos that teach it. They go a little slower and they really detail the rules and why they work. Okay, x to the third times x to the fourth. We don't really have, there's ones there, but 1 times 1 is 1. We don't have any numbers that we need to multiply. So we're just going to add the exponents, 3 plus 4. This gives me x to the 7th. So we just add those exponents when we're multiplying. The second one, now we've got some numbers and some exponents. So we're going to multiply the numbers. 10 times negative 4, that is negative 40. And we have a to the 7th and a to the 3rd. That's going to be a to the 10th, because 7 plus 3 is 10. Okay. N to the 5th times n to the 6th times n to the 9th. There's no numbers to multiply. 5 plus 6 plus 9, that is n to the 20th. I just want to say something really quick. When you're multiplying, the variables don't have to be the same, because you're going to end up adding them anyway. Only when you're adding and subtracting do the variables have to be exactly the same, and then you just collect the coefficients, or call them collect like terms. Just add the coefficients that are in front of it. Okay? So they are different. Kind of build a little wall in your brain between adding and subtracting rules and multiplying when it comes to polynomials. All right. Negative 7x to the second y to the third times 4xy to the second. So negative 7 times 4 is negative 28. All right, and now we get to the x's. X to the second and x, and it's 2 plus, wait a minute, you said add the exponents. That doesn't have an exponent. Yes, it does. Don't forget that the 1 is understood. We don't write 1s on exponents. So 2 plus 1, that's 3, so that'll be x to the third, y to the third, and y to the second. That gives me y to the 5th when I add those. All right, now the first 4 examples that I had were just straight multiplying. The next 2, we end up using the distributive property and these 2 rules. So now I've got 3x times 2x plus 5. So we want to get rid of those parentheses. We use the distributive to do that. I'm going to do my little rainbow thing. So I've got 3x times 2x. Well, 3 times 2 is 6. And we're going to add the exponents. They both have 1s that are understood. So it's 6x to the second. And then 3x times 5. Well, 3 times 5 is 15. Now that's a positive 15, so I write a plus. And I have an x, but I don't have anything to do with that. Well, then the x just follows. Because there's nothing to multiply the x by, it's going to stay the same. And there you have it. Can I put together 6x to the second and 15x? No, don't do it. X to the second is different than x. They are not like terms. Okay, last one. Got to use the distributive property. I got to multiply that 6x to the second by 3 different terms. 6x to the second times 3x to the second. 6 times 3 is 18. 2 plus 2 is 4, so it's 18x to the fourth. 6x to the second times negative 5x. 6 times negative 5, that's negative 30. So I'll write minus 30. X to the second times x. Don't forget there's a 1 that's understood. That would be x to the third. 2 plus 1 is 3. And last, 6x to the second times 7. That's going to be 42. I wrote plus because it was positive. X to the second. Nothing to multiply the x by, so it just follows along. keep in mind when you're multiplying polynomials that you multiply the numbers, you add the exponents, and you can certainly use the distributive property to get rid of the parentheses. Good luck.